Okay, time to dial in my fretting technique. I gotta get these crazy fingers under control. Okay, index first, and then keep that down while, oh shit. Okay, index, middle, ring. Now oh, come on, dude. Pinky, yes. No!
Why?
Whether you're a beginner just starting out or you've been gigging for years, if you've never done finger exercises before, I guarantee you'll notice big leaps in your overall playing if you do these exercises for just a few minutes a day for a month or two. I'm going to show you 5 levels of bass finger exercise that'll get you playing cleaner and tighter, have you playing with less effort but more control, and even get you on the path to shreddom if that's something you want. So close your other 87 tabs, grab a sports drink, and let's dig in. Okay, level 1 is one of the most common, most boring bass exercises, and you may have seen it before.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
But it's really important because it's the simplest way to practice getting coordination in all 4 of your fretting fingers in conjunction with your plucking hand. And here's the thing, most people who do this exercise are actually doing it wrong. So I'm going to show you how to do it the right way and how to make it less boring in a minute. Okay, here's the super boring exercise. We're going to start on the G string, 9th fret. We're just going to be using the 9th through 12th frets because that's the easiest spot on the neck for most people to use all 4 fingers, whether you've got small hands or giant alien hands with freaky long spider fingers. So use your index finger on the 9th fret of the G string, your middle finger on the 10th fret, ring finger on the 11th fret, and pinky on the 12th fret. And then we'll just do the same thing in reverse. Pinky on the 12th, ring on the 11th, middle on the 10th, and index on the 9th. And that's the whole level 1 exercise. Your level 1 goal is just to do the right fingers at the right time, index, middle, ring, pinky, pinky, ring, middle, index, and to aim for the ends of the frets right behind the wire. And here's what you might sound like if you don't do this right. As opposed to this. So every time you fret, aim for the end of the fret right behind the fret wire, and that allows you to get clean sounding notes with the minimum amount of pressure required. So you'll know your notes are clean if they sound like this and not like this. If you're hearing those kind of noises, you just need to scoot towards the end of the fret. And if you're still hearing the rattling sound at the end of the fret, just try pressing a little bit harder, not too much. We're focusing on the fretting hand and not really the plucking hand in this lesson, but you can just alternate index middle with your plucking all the way through all 5 levels. So when you're first starting any new bass finger exercise, you should start super slow to make sure that you're doing it right. And then from there, to make it less boring, you can spice it up by using, wait for it, drum loops. Using drum loops is a great way to make exercises like this feel more like music and also give you an opportunity to practice the crucial skill of locking in with a drummer. And once you've nailed an exercise at a certain tempo, you can just nudge the speed up a little bit to keep improving, which is a great way to measure your progress over time. I'll be using the Drum Beats Plus app on my iPhone, which is like $5. If you're on Android, you can use the Loops app. Loops. Either way, just pull up the app, find a drum beat that suits you, find a tempo that works for you for the exercise, and then start working on it. So I might start here if I'm a beginner. This could be too slow for you or too fast for you, that's fine. You just find a tempo that feels like your edge, and you'll know you're at your edge if you can mostly do the exercise right, but it's pushing you just right on the edge of making mistakes here and there. If you're making mistakes the whole time, then you're going too fast. If you're getting clean notes all the way through the exercise, then you're nailing level 1. You may still have flying fingers like this, which is exactly what we're going to address in coming levels. But there's a mistake people often make when doing exercises like this. They try to perform the entire exercise right out of the gate, where it's really a process of getting a lot of little elements right before you can do it all as one fluid exercise with no mistakes. If there are 1 or 2 little micro elements that you're doing wrong and you just keep repeating the whole exercise over and over, you're at best wasting some time, and at worst you're baking mistakes and bad habits into your playing. The trick to avoid just drilling in your mistakes is to break the exercise down and bite-size it. So how I would apply that to level 1, let's say I'm doing level 1, And every time I play my pinky note, I'm getting a buzz. So I think, okay, I've identified an issue. My pinky is buzzing. Let's see what's going on. I look at my hand. I see, okay, I'm not at the end of the fret like Josh told me to. So what if I just isolate that part of the exercise where I'm making the mistake? So how about I just go ring, pinky, until I can consistently get myself to put my pinky in the right place. Make sure that note sounds clean and doesn't sound buzzy. And then once I can do that in isolation, then I would integrate back into the full exercise nice and slow. And hey, my pinky note sounds good, so I must have done a good job. If you integrate it back in and it still doesn't sound good, then you need to do more work at the bite size level. Because the whole point of finger exercises like this is so you can find your weaknesses so that then you can improve them bite by bite. Okay, let's move on to level 2. Level 2 is the same exercise, but now you have a new level goal, which is to keep your fingers pressed down as you go. So instead of looking like this, your fingers are going to look more like this. That means that after I play my index finger note, I add the middle finger and keep the index finger where it was, add the ring, keep the middle and the index, and add the pinky, so now all 4 fingers are pressing down. And then coming back down, I just release one at a time. Play the pinky, release the ring, release the middle, and then I'm back to the index. So instead of having to lift a finger and press down the next one at the same time, you only have to do one motion, either add a finger or subtract a finger, depending on what direction you're going in. And this actually makes it easier to play clean once you get the hang of it, because it cuts the amount of coordination you need in half. Here's what it might sound like if you don't nail this. As opposed to this. Again, start super slow and out of rhythm, just trying to get your fingers to follow your commands. Aiming for the ends of the frets, keeping your fingers down as you go up, and then releasing one at a time as you come back down. And really, seriously, do not be afraid to start really, really slow, like way slower than I just did it. There is no tempo that's too slow if it's the right tempo for you. And keep in mind that a lot of gigging bass players can't actually do level 2 all that well the way I'm instructing you. So don't be surprised if it takes some time to nail it. And remember to bite size it. For example, if I'm going through and okay, it's working, when I press my pinky down, my index finger goes flying. So that's an issue that I want to isolate and then bring back into the full exercise. So again, maybe I could just go ring, pinky, see if my index finger is doing a little dance with my pinky and try to get it not to. Okay, that's working in isolation now. Now maybe I can bring it back into the full exercise. And okay, my index isn't flying anymore. So now I'm clear to do the full exercise. Once you feel comfortable doing it slow and out of rhythm, you can start trying to do it with a drum beat at whatever tempo is doable for you. I'll just start here. So don't move on to level 3 until you can do it at this speed. For beginners, half notes at 120 beats per minute, which is what I'm doing right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So one note every 2 beats. If you're more advanced, you can aim for quarter notes at 120. Just aiming for the ends of the frets and keeping your fingers down as you go. The 2 biggest mistakes most bass students make with these kind of exercises are 1, trying to perform the whole exercise instead of focusing on bite-sizing it, and 2, going way too fast for their own good. It's totally normal to not progress speed-wise for multiple practice sessions, and if you're just starting with fretting efficiency practice, it could take you like a month or 2 just to be able to pass level 2 at the tempo I recommended. That's totally okay though. The point is not to blow through all 5 exercises as fast as you can. The idea is to get as much juice out of each one as possible. So you might be staying at level 2 for a while, but you should still keep watching to see where you're headed next, and especially to get the tip that I gave you in level 5 that'll apply to all the previous levels as well. Level 3 is the same exercise, index, middle, ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, but we're adding a new level goal that drives a lot of bass players totally crazy. We're going to put a magnifying glass on your flying fingers so that we can try to keep them closer to the neck as they release so that you don't look like this. You can look more like this. Reducing your range of motion saves you energy, and it also helps you to play fast more easily because your fingers will be closer to where you need them next. So, same exercise as before, go super slow because we're adding a new thing. So aiming for the ends of the frets, fingers stay down as you go up, and now as you come back down, see if you can limit the range of motion when your fingers release. I can tell you right now, you're gonna need to seriously bite-size this level if you haven't worked on this before, because your pinky is not gonna wanna stay anywhere near the neck. When I first started working on this stuff, I remember I would physically restrain with my other hand and try to keep my pinky from lifting too far off the neck when I went through the exercise. And I don't know if that really helped or if I was just feeling frustrated.
You are not the boss of me.
So don't be afraid to isolate the issue. Just if you're having issues with the pinky, just start there with the pinky and all the other fingers pressed down, and just remove the pinky, press, lift, and just try to get that range of motion as small as you can. Might not be as small as what you see me doing, that's totally fine. Just aim to improve over time. Once you've got the pinky a little more tame, you'll probably have to isolate again when you find that when you lift the ring finger, your pinky wants to go flying again. So just isolate the issue, get the bite size level up, just go pinky, ring, middle, or just ring, middle, and then once you're convinced that your pinky isn't going anywhere, you can try the full exercise again. Just trying to keep it as close as you can. Going slow is really crucial here, so don't be in a hurry to speed up. And when you do speed up, I recommend you take notes on your progress. Maybe just on a sheet of paper, write the date, the name of the exercise, the BPM, and a little note about how it felt that day. Then you'll have proof that you've improved over time, which can really help to see when you're feeling stuck, which is gonna happen. So your tempo goal again for this level is half notes at 120 if you're a beginner. So that will look like this. Or quarter notes if you're more advanced, which is twice the tempo. Once you hit that goal, it's time for level 4. Level 4 means you're finally ready to change up the actual exercise. Woohoo! We're gonna start on the D string 9th fret, go index, middle, ring, pinky, and then move to the G string, index, middle, ring, pinky, and then everything in reverse. Pinky, ring, middle, index to the D string, pinky, ring, middle, index. This gives us your level 4 goal, which is to lift your fingers in the direction of the string you next need them on. Okay, let me show you how that works because it sounds a little complicated. So I start on the D string, 9th fret, I go index, middle, ring, pinky. The first spot that shows up is when I play my pinky note, I want to move my index over to the G string because that's the next place I'm going to need it. And then as soon as I pluck that note, my other 3 fingers can come get set over the G string so that I can go index, middle, ring, pinky really efficiently. Now it's even trickier coming back down. This is where this really shows up. So I play my pinky note, and then as soon as I lift that, I want to lift in the direction of the D string. So if I lift my pinky like this doesn't do me any good because there's no bass over here. So after I'm done with the pinky, it should go here because that's where I next need it. Same thing with the ring finger, lift to go over to its note on the D string, middle lifts towards the D string, and now once my index is playing the 9th fret note, my pinky should be ready to go over the 12th fret. As soon as I play that, my other fingers press down and get ready behind it. Okay, so that's a lot to think about, right? Keep in mind, again, a lot of gigging professional bass players don't actually do this all that well. I've seen it. I have seen it in bars. I have seen it in clubs. Whether you're just looking to protect your body and make playing feel easier, or if you want to be able to shred super hard in the future, this kind of efficiency makes a huge difference. So don't be afraid to start super slow and out of rhythm, just at whatever speed you can actually think about all this stuff at and do it right. Especially the coming down part, because that's a lot of moves to get right. And then just ease into a tempo where you can still keep all of your level goals in mind from levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll just play with that at 120, which again is your goal tempo, is to get half notes at this speed. If you're a beginner, move the index, and then get ready as you come down, lift towards the D string with each finger, and then get everything set behind the pinky as soon as you play that note. If you're more advanced, you can aim for quarter notes at 120. Might not sound that hard, but it's pretty hard to actually do it right at that tempo. You have reached the summit of level 5. We're going to play a full 1-octave chromatic scale, meaning all 12 notes from G to G, and here's what that's going to look like. We're going to start index finger on the 10th fret of the A string and play index, middle, ring, pinky, and then shift to the 9th fret of the D string with the index. Again, go index, middle, ring, pinky. Shift to the 8th fret of the G string, same thing, index, middle, ring, pinky. That's the first half. Now the second half, we go up to the 12th fret with the pinky, come down, pinky, ring, middle, index, then 13th fret of the D, pinky, ring, middle, index, shift to the 14th fret of the A, pinky, ring, middle, index, shift down a fret, and you're back home to where we started. So as you can see, we've got more string crossing, plus we've added some vertical shifts compared to level 4. So don't expect to be able to do this if you're not ready. It's not a big deal. You'll get here at some point when you are ready. So before I give you your level 5 goal, let's talk through the level 5 exercise with your level 1, 2, 3, and 4 goals in mind, and then I'll add on the level 5 goal, which will help you with all the previous exercises as well. So I remember my level 1 goal is to aim for the ends of the frets, and then level 2 goal was to keep fingers down as you go up, index, middle, ring, pinky, and then coming down, here's the trickier ones. You want to reduce your range of motion as you lift, and you want to lift towards the string you're about to use. So with the descending version of the exercise, that means pinky lifts towards the D, same with the rest, and then I lift towards the A. And those are the levels 1 through 4 goals. The level 5 goal is to use as little pressure as possible with the fretting hand. This makes a huge difference in how easy or difficult it feels to play bass. Here's how I recommend doing this. I'll just demonstrate with the levels 1 through 3 version of the exercise that's just on the G string. So first is perform a system reset. So reset the amount of pressure you would normally use with your hand. And what I mean is, don't use any. Just put your fingers, just go through the motions, but as you can hear, it's not enough to get notes, okay? So the idea is from here, I'm gonna very, very gradually, just a tiny bit at a time, add pressure. I'm almost hearing notes now. Boom, clean notes. Now this is a little less pressure than I normally use, honestly. So the goal is, after doing this reset, is to keep the pressure at this new lighter level for the duration of the exercise, and to regularly check in and make sure that I haven't started gripping the neck like I'm trying to murder it again. If you're like me, you might notice that the amount of pressure you actually need is less than the amount of pressure you normally use, and that's what's great about doing this reset. I mean, just imagine how easy it could feel to play bass if you were actually using the minimum amount of pressure you needed at all times with your fretting hand. It'd be pretty glorious. So I could apply that same idea to the level 4 exercise where we had the string crossing from the D string to the G string. So I'd do a reset, no pressure, just convince myself, okay, I'm definitely not using too much because it's not enough. And then I'll just try a little bit more. Okay, that's still not enough. A little bit more. And there it is. So light, so easy. Now all I have to do is feel how that feels and remember to keep it light like that. And I can do the same thing with level 5 with the full chromatic scale. Just start with almost no pressure and then just add a little bit, and there I am. Feels really light, but I'm still getting nice clean notes. Your tempo goal, again for level 5, is half notes at 120, just like all the other exercises. So that would look like this. It'll take a while to get through the exercise at this speed, but it's worth it. So I'm aiming for the ends of the frets, fingers staying down, and then as I lift, reducing the range of motion and aiming for the next string I need those fingers on, and trying to keep the pressure as light as possible. If you're more advanced, you can try quarter notes. As long as you can keep all of your 5 level goals in mind. If you can't, then you need to go slower. If you can play level 5 at one of those tempo targets and keep all of your level goals in mind from the previous levels and actually have your fingers doing all those things, you are crushing it. You are so far ahead of most bass players technique-wise. So what should you do if you get to that point? You've finished level 5, you hit the target I recommended. Just go back to level 3 before we changed up the exercise and work on bumping your BPM a little bit more, whatever you think is a realistic new goal for you. Just so you have a sense of what's possible, I set the advanced goal to be quarter notes at 120, but you could definitely shoot to be able to do 8th notes at 120 with any of these, or even 16th notes. You can also apply all of these level goals to any other bass finger exercises you want to work on. Just remember, there's no best finger exercise. It's not really about the exercises. It's about the focus on bite-sizing whatever you're working on. This level 5 exercise is by no means the most difficult bass finger exercise anyone's ever come up with, but you'd be surprised how many people actually can't do this while keeping all of the level goals from levels 1 through 5 actually happening in their hands. Victor Wooten said, "Technique is very important because you can have all the ideas in the world, but if you can't express them, then you're going to be frustrated." So remember that though these exercises themselves can be really frustrating, what's really, really, really frustrating is when you have bad technique and you can't express yourself.
Express yourself!
Do you ever wonder why it's so hard to get your fingers to do what you want?
Mwahahaha, we shall keep the puny humans from mastering the bass. Index finger.
Yes, sir.
Every time I press down, you will lift. This'll make them furious.